group of people who survived the rage virus live on a little island. When one of them goes to the mainland for a mission, he finds out about secrets, amazing things, and terrifying mutations that have impacted both the infected and other survivors. Get ready to relive the adventure as we recap the story of horror film today. 28 years later. Production year 2025. The movie kicks off with a bunch of kids glued to the TV when suddenly they hear screaming. You can tell they're totally freaked out. Then this woman walks in holding a little kid named Jimmy. She leaves him with the group and tells them to stay put no matter what. The second she shuts the door, all hell breaks loose, glass shattering, more screams, the works. The kids are frozen, barely breathing, trying not to make a sound. But little Jimmy can't help himself and creeps toward the door to peek outside. The door swings open and bam, zombie right there in their faces. The kids lose it, especially Jimmy, who's practically shaking. He watches in horror as these things start attacking, then bolts outside looking for his mom. He spots her for half a second before she sees a zombie and slams the door in his face, yelling at him to run. The poor kid takes off upstairs only to find more infected people waiting. Nowhere safe. The house is crawling with them, so he books it outside, not even knowing where to go next. Jimmy paused outside the old church, then stepped inside. His dad, the priest, was just standing there like he'd been waiting for him. He started to tell his dad about what he'd seen, but his dad cut him off. "I already know," he said, pulling out a cross pendant and pressing it into Jimmy's hand. "Hide now." Jimmy didn't argue. He ducked out of sight just as a bunch of zombies came rushing in. His dad didn't even flinch, just stood there still as stone. Jimmy waited, heart pounding, until the moment felt right. And he bolted, sprinting away from the church without a single glance back. He clutched that cross like it was the only thing keeping him alive. Later, people said the rage virus spread like wildfire, tearing through the whole country. Europe freaked out and locked the island down tight. No one in, no one out. 28 years passed, and a few survivors ended up building a small village in Lindisfarne. They all had primitive weapons, spears, knives, bows, and arrows, and the like. A man named Jamie was preparing his son Spike to leave the village for the first time. It was a rite of passage, as Spike had to take a life. As they were getting ready, Jamie and Spike heard Spike's mother, Isla, in the other room. She was sick and bedridden and apologized for disturbing him. She hugged Spike tightly and told him she'd had a bad headache all morning. She was trying to hold on, but it was clear how weak she was. Jamie told her they were planning to leave. "Our son is only 12, Isla said, "and I'm not well either." But Jamie ignored her and left. Spike stayed with his mother, trying to reassure her. He gave her something to eat and lied that he was going to school. Then Spike walked into the kitchen. Their neighbor found an old man named Sam to take care of Isla after they left. The entire village gathered and waved goodbye as Spike and his father, Jamie, set off. At the gate, the chief warned them that no one would rescue them if things got bad on the mainland. Then they spotted this strange passageway in the sea, one of those things that only appears at low tide. They managed to secure their position before the waters returned. Things accelerated once they reached the mainland. As they continued, they saw several infected zombies. These were the creatures Spike had to face. "You have to be quick and brave and hit his target in the neck," Jamie told Spike. A fat, slow-moving zombie crawled by. Its skin was very thick. It dragged itself like a giant snake. Spike immediately took out his bow and put an arrow through its neck. Meanwhile, more zombies arrived. Jamie didn't hesitate and began killing them one by one. When they saw an infected child, they retreated. At that moment, Spike felt proud of killing the zombie and his confidence soared. They kept walking and stumbled upon an old, dilapidated house. It looked creepy, but they went in anyway. Inside, there was a man hanging upside down, being pecked by crows. There was something written on his chest. Jamie turned to Spike and said that most of the people here aren't good. Living alone for so long takes its toll on them, making them commit unbelievable, depraved acts. Jamie then told Spike to get rid of the man without hesitation. Spike hesitated but fired the arrow, hitting the man in the head. Spike and Jimmy walked back to the mainland, treading cautiously. And they spotted it, a deer's head hanging there, the rest of its body torn apart. That's when it hit them. This wasn't just any ordinary zombie mayhem. No, this was the work of those rage virus-mad alpha zombies. These weren't just mindless walkers. They were intelligent, and highly aggressive. From a distance, they spotted not just one alpha zombie, but an entire herd charging toward them. Fear struck hard. Jimmy yanked Spike's arm, telling them to run and keep shooting arrows as they ran. Spike was completely panicked. His hands were shaking. Even with all his training, he couldn't land a single good shot, and worse. The alpha zombies were advancing fast. Jimmy and Spike had to fight back any way they could, but they were too many. In a panic, Jimmy and Spike run back to the old house and barely make it inside. They hold up in the attic, their hearts pounding. Outside, zombies were lurking on a nearby hill, watching. Even from there, they could tell those creatures knew exactly where they were. They decided to stay in the attic and wait for the situation to develop, as returning to the island seemed too risky at that moment. Then, as darkness fell, they saw a fire. Spike asked what was wrong. "I don't know either," replied Jimmy. That night, Spike had a terrifying dream about his mother drowning. He woke up suddenly, and then they realized the floor was collapsing. It turned out the place was older and more dilapidated than they had expected. It barely escaped, and now they had to return to the island. They were lucky to see that passageway in the open sea, and the father and son quickly turned around. But they didn't realize that Alpha Zombie was much faster. He had been watching them the whole time, and now he was rapidly approaching. Their tension grew so high that they ran as fast as they could to the island to save their lives. They arrived just in time to send out a distress call. The tower men didn't waste a second. Arrows rained down on the monster. A flaming arrow lodged in his chest, knocking him to the ground. They threw a big party for Spike upon his return. Everyone praised him for going out to kill zombies and returning safely. Jimmy couldn't stop bragging about his son, telling him every detail of their adventure. He was extremely proud of it, but Spike noticed something. His father had sneaked off with another woman. It hurt deeply. He left the party, deeply frustrated, and went home alone. Sam was waiting for him there when he entered. Spike expressed his deep concern for his mother. Her condition wasn't improving, but worsening by the day. Sam mentioned a legendary doctor who might have been able to help Isla, but the man had disappeared years ago, isolated from everyone. When Spike told him about the attic fire, and Sam's eyes lit up. If that fire was still burning, then the doctor was still out there somewhere, which meant there was hope for Isla if he could find the doctor. Jimmy stumbled in the next morning, reeking of booze. Spike lost it right then and there. He accused him of cheating on Mom, said he saw him with some other woman. Spike brought up how Jimmy kept it all hidden, then dropped something about the doctor still being alive. "Did you even know Dr. Kelson?" Spike demanded. Jimmy just stood there silent. Not a word, not even when Spike threw it in his face, asking if he even cared about helping Isla get better. Things got heated fast. Then Jimmy swung, hitting Spike hard across the face. Spike pulled a knife, telling his dad to stay away from him and Isla. Jimmy took it from him, easy, like he wasn't even trying. He didn't yell, didn't hit him again. Just walked away quiet. An idea was brewing in Spike's head. If he set fire to some community property, the chaos and smoke would cover their escape. Amidst all the chaos, he grabbed Isla and set off quickly for the mainland. Isla wasn't well, sick and weak. When she finally realized what was happening, she panicked a bit. Spike kept telling her that everything would be fine, that they just needed to find a doctor. That was all he cared about, to ask for her help. Night fell and they had to stop to rest. Spike collapsed, exhausted. But something stirred in the darkness, some kind of strange, gigantic zombie slinking about. Just as it was about to attack Spike, Isla leaped out of nowhere. She fought it off somehow and took it down. Just like that, she saved him. On the mainland, a squad of soldiers was on the run, trying to escape a horde of zombies. But this wasn't any ordinary chase. There was a new zombie after them, and my God, these guys were terrified. They kept stumbling, falling one after the other. The zombies pounced on them furiously, with no mercy and no way out. By the time it was over, only one man was left standing, exhausted but still breathing. After this, we come to know that one of the zombie women is pregnant. Spike and Isla keep pushing toward the mainland. Isla is having strange thoughts. She remembers the brief moments of her life, the ones when the zombie virus wasn't spreading. When Spike notices another zombie up ahead, the thing's dragging itself along, moving in this weird, almost dragon-like way. Spike takes it down with an arrow, but the crash when it hits the ground is way louder than expected. Next thing they know, a whole pack of zombies is on their tail, moving way too fast for comfort. They bolt, scrambling for cover, and duck into an old gas station. The air inside is thick with fumes, making it hard to breathe. Just when it feels like things can't get worse, zombies start shuffling in. Then out of nowhere, a soldier named Eric shows up. He torches the infected, saving their skins at the last second. Turns out he's one of the few who made it through whatever went down. But the good news stops there. He tells them getting back isn't just tough, it's straight up impossible once they hit the island. The roads are blocked, sealed off. There's no going back now. They sit together and bond for a while as Eric tells Spike about the world outside the UK. The three of them kept moving, and Isla was starting to feel a bit more okay. Then they spotted this old abandoned train up ahead. Out of nowhere, they heard a woman screaming in pain from inside. When they went in, they found this pregnant zombie woman just sitting there, all quiet and eerie. Isla couldn't just leave her like that, so she helped deliver the baby. The kid came out fine, a healthy little boy. But right after, the mom totally lost it, going crazy until Eric put her down with a shot. Spike and Isla checked the baby. No rage virus, thank God. But Eric still had his gun aimed at the kid. Before he could pull the trigger, Alpha barged in, yanked Eric out, and well, let's just say Eric's head and spine didn't stay attached for long. Spike and Isla bolted outside, Alpha hot on their heels, until Dr. Kelson finally knocked him out with a tranquilizer. So the doc takes Spike and Isla to a secret spot deep in the woods. He starts showing them all his stuff, and then just casually starts slathering iodine all over himself. He explains that the virus can't stand iodine, it's basically like poison to it. That's his daily routine, and he swears it's the reason he's still alive. Next thing you know, he hands them this soldier's skull and tells them to stick it inside that weird pyramid with the others. Spike's like, yeah, okay, no problem. Then the doc checks out the baby and gets all excited when he realizes the little one isn't infected. You can tell he's seriously stoked about that. Then he starts examining Isla. You can tell he's really focusing on her, and his face just goes all serious out of nowhere. There's this heavy silence before the doctor finally says something. He breaks it to them that Isla's gotten way worse. The virus has messed her up bad, body and mind. Turns out she's got cancer and it's not looking good at all. He explains it started in her brain and just spread everywhere, eating away at her from the inside. Nobody even knows how it began. But the worst part, there's no fixing it. No treatment, no miracle cure, nothing's gonna make this better. Spike's holding on to hope that the doc can save his mom, but Isla's known for a while deep down that this is it. She's made peace with it, weirdly enough. She figures if death's coming, she's not gonna hide from it. Everyone gotta go sometime, right? That's just how life works. Kelson knew what had to be done. He put Spike to sleep first because watching would have been too much. When Isla came, he did what he thought was mercy. Later, Spike woke up to the worst kind of gift, his mother's skull in Kelson's hands. He didn't say anything, just took it and climbed. The Tower of Skulls was already too high, but he added one more. The next day, Spike and Kelson escape from Alpha again. They hide in a hole, but Alpha heads straight for Kelson, trying to strangle him. Spike wastes no time and stabs Alpha with Kelson's morphine dart, knocking him unconscious. Spike and Kelson then go their separate ways. Spike takes the baby, whom he names Isla, to Lindisfarne. He leaves her with Jamie and the villagers, telling them she's clean and they need to take care of her. Jamie races to the river, hopping to catch Spike before he disappears, but the tide has already risen and Spike is gone. 28 days later, Spike is relaxing and eating some fish he's caught when a group of infected appear. He brings one down, but is chased by more until he's cornered. Suddenly, this blonde man and his strange group of doppelgangers appear. The man offers to help, to which Spike says, well, why not? The group members perform some acrobatics before eliminating the infected. It turned out that the blonde man was Jimmy, the same boy from the beginning, still wearing his father's necklace. He told Spike that they should be friends, and showing this story ends here. Appreciate a subscribe and please remember to like. Thanks for watching.